In many ways, constructivism comes from a different place to the theoretical approaches we've looked at so far. It's certainly quite distinct from realism and liberalism, and often quite deliberately so. Let's get straight on to the learning outcomes for this session. First, to explain what constructivism is. Second, to present some of the foundational authors. Third, to present a constructivist case study, the personification of the state. Fourth, to explain the significance of the Montevideo Convention. And fifth, to understand the constitutive and declaratory theories of state existence. An early expression of constructivism comes from Nicholas Onuf. He draws on Wittgenstein and in turn on Goethe to define what constructivism is. For Onuf, in simplest terms, people and societies construct or constitute each other. So people make societies and societies make people. They are both constructs. Onuf draws on Nelson Goodman. And for Goodman, there is no unique real world which exists before human mental activity. Human thought and human language constitute or construct the world. Taken to its logical extreme, if a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? For this form of constructivism, the answer is no. Now, considering the theoretical approaches to IR that we've looked at so far, you may think that in some ways liberalism is seen as the opposite of realism. But this would be a misreading of liberalism and realism. In many ways, they share common foundations and they have much in common. Their major disagreements boil down to differing understandings of human nature. But with constructivism, we see something that deliberately aims to be the opposite of realism. Goodman refers to himself as an irrealist, as while the realists accept the objective reality of facts, constructivism, or at least the nominative constructivism of Goodman, does not. By way of example, Goodman looks to the question of whether or not the Earth moves. He says, according to a geocentric system, the Earth stands still, while according to a heliocentric system, it moves. Merely that a given version says something does not make what it says true. After all, some versions... My green screen just flew in front of me. We'll play with that later. After all, some versions say that the Earth is flat or that it rests on the back of a tortoise. That the Earth is at rest according to one system and moves according to another says nothing about how the Earth behaves, but only something about what these versions say. What must be added is that these versions are true. This then is the opposite of the realist view, which Onuf says holds that the world exists independent of ourselves and the things within it await our naming. So, a big difference there for the realists and the constructivists based on the immutability of facts. For realists, the world exists by itself and we can observe things about it, such as states and power relations. For constructivists, the world as we understand it is a construct. Things don't exist until we've given them names.